Hello. This video is about using VBOXX 6.0 to create a virtual machine that has Android 8.1 in it, and it will be using the Android ISO that can be found on the Android website and working in a Windows 8.1 operating system. The first thing you would want to do is locate the Android file, the ISO file. Then we'll open up Virtualbox. We'll click on New. You can type in something. I'm just going to type in Android 2 because I already have Android 1. The type will be Linux, and the version will be the Linux 2.6, and it's the 32-bit. Allocate the memory based on how much RAM you have. I'm going to set it to 2 gigabytes, but you can set it to whatever. 4 is probably enough if you have enough. Go ahead and just make the size of the hard drive. Set it to VDI. Set it to dynamic. Dynamic will only use what you use, so you can set the size and it'll grow as you add more files to the virtual machine. Go ahead and go to the settings. General is fine. Go to Systems. Set the optical to the first as the boot sequence, and the hard drive as the second, or the hard disk. The pointing device you might have to work with as you start this. It'll take different times. Video memory from the display set to 128. The graphics controller is set to the VBOXVGA. Right here, you'll need to go to that little circle for the CD icon. Find your Android ISO file, double click on it, open it. Alright, and have it set up like that. The audio's fine, the network's fine, server, USB, you can set the USB to 3.0 if you have the Virtualbox extension installed, and everything else should be good. So now, because you have the optical as the first in the boot sequence, it's going to boot the Android ISO file when it starts. Go to Installation, Create, or C, Create, OK. No, GPT. You will go to New, and then it'll be a primary drive. Set it to the maximum, which will be the default. Make sure you hit enter to make boot. You'll see boot in the flags. Once you have verified that you can see boot in flags, go to write. It will request that you type yes, YES, press enter. After the file, after the partition has been written, you can go to quit. And now, once the SDA1 is clicked, change it to ext. Say yes, I want to reformat to ext4. This will take a while. I'm going to go ahead and just go straight towards it. Once it's finished, yes, you do want to install the Grub loader. And then, yes, you also want to allow the system directory as read and write. This will take some time. And I'm using a Windows USB on a USB drive, so the operating system is much slower because everything has to be written on sort of a flash drive or whatever. You can click on either one of these. I'll go to Reboot, click Reboot. Go ahead and let it reboot. Now the thing about it is you just want to exit out and close it right now because it's going to boot right back into the ISO CD. So power off the machine. Okay, so from here we're going to go back into settings, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove that ISO file at all. So we're just going to remove the controller. You can add it later if you need to. You can change the hard disk to only boot from just that single boot sequences. Everything else is fine. Click OK, and then start. One thing I would like to say, that if it's, this thing is still recording, that there seems to be some sort of issue where periodically the Android virtual machine will go all black. I haven't figured out how to fix this issue, but it's if you leave the machine alone and don't touch anything on it for like 5 or 10 minutes, it'll go all black. Some sort of standby or something like that. And the way that I use to kind of get by that is to push Shift F1, and Shift F1 goes into kind of like a terminal of the Android. You can actually push Shift F1 and then type in ifconfig, and you'll see the IP address, which is useful when you're trying to use two emulations instead, two virtual machines to communicate between each other. Like if you had Android Studio on one virtual machine and you had this Android virtual machine on another. This could be different for everyone else because it's going to try to connect to the internet first. I'm on a machine that does not have internet, so it's going to sit there and try to find, and then it's not going to be able to connect, and then it's going to verify that I want to continue, because I'm not going to be able to type in all of my information, like the email address and the Wi-Fi and all that sort of stuff, and that's fine. You will eventually need an email if you use Play to download skips. I want to set the time to Central Standard Time, which is you can set it to whatever you need to set it to. Time is all wrong. Thankfully, it's not Monday yet. Set the time to the correct time. Go to next. This is the name of your phone. I'm just gonna put Android 2. Push whatever you'd like to select on these settings, and then push I agree. And then if you wanted to add anything, you can do that, or just say no thanks. And now it is getting everything prepared. Okay, you have two different user interfaces, launcher or taskbar. They both have that pink background. One of them looks more like a traditional Android phone. The other one looks like kind of like a typical operating system, where there's a start button on the left. And that's it. Thank you.